Imagine turning your everyday savings into a growing stream of income that supports your family without winning the lottery or starting a business. Today, you'll hear the real-life story of how one family of four used simple, consistent dividend reinvesting to quietly build lasting wealth over time. If you're looking for a clear, practical path to creating passive income, this story is for you. Why does this matter? For many families, building wealth can feel overwhelming. The markets seem complicated, and the idea of earning money while you sleep sounds too good to be true. But the truth is, with patience and a plan, even average families can use dividend investing to secure their financial future. Let's break down exactly how this family did it, step by step. Along the way, I'll explain key terms and ideas so you can follow the same path, no matter where you're starting from. Before we dive in, remember, this video is for educational purposes only. It's not financial advice. Always do your own research or speak to a professional before making investment decisions. The family in our story, let's call them the Parkers, started their investing journey just like many of us, with limited knowledge and modest savings. They had 2 kids and wanted to create financial security for the future, but didn't have a windfall or high-paying jobs. The Parkers' first step was learning about dividends. What are dividends? Simply put, dividends are payments that some companies make to shareholders, usually every quarter. It's a way for companies to share profits with their investors. Some companies, especially strong, established ones, have a long history of paying and even increasing their dividends year after year. The Parkers realized that by owning shares in these companies, they could start building their own stream of income, one that could grow over time. But instead of spending those dividends, they decided to reinvest them. Dividend reinvestment is a simple but powerful idea. Every time you receive a dividend, you use it to buy more shares of the same stock. That means next time dividends are paid, you own even more shares, so you get a bigger payment. Over time, this process can really accelerate your investment growth. To get started, the Parkers opened a brokerage account that offered a dividend reinvestment plan, often called a DRIP. This made the process automatic. Each dividend payment was used to buy more shares, with no extra work on their part. But how did they choose which stocks to invest in? The Parkers looked for companies with a strong track record of paying and growing dividends. They learned about the dividend yield, which is simply the annual dividend payment divided by the stock's current price. For example, if a company pays $2 per year in dividends and its stock costs $50, the dividend yield is 4%. However, the Parkers didn't just chase the highest dividend yields. They learned about the payout ratio, which shows what percent of a company's earnings are paid out as dividends. If a company pays out too much, say 90 or 100%, it may not be able to sustain those payments if business slows down. A healthy payout ratio is often below 60%, though it can vary by industry. The Parkers also understood the importance of diversification. That means spreading their investments across different companies and sectors, so they wouldn't be too dependent on any single business. For example, they might own shares in a utility company, a consumer goods company, a healthcare firm, and a technology company, all of which pay consistent dividends. Let's look at how their journey unfolded. In their first year, the Parkers invested $200 per month, money they had been saving for the kids' future. They chose a mix of 5 well-known dividend-paying companies with a long history of stable payments. In total, their first-year investments added up to $2,400. At an average dividend yield of 3%, they earned about $72 in dividends that year. Instead of spending it, that money was automatically reinvested to buy more shares. This might not sound like much at first, but the real magic comes with time and consistency. Over the next several years, the Parkers kept investing $200 a month, rain or shine. As their incomes grew, they gradually increased it to $300 per month. Each year, they received dividends on a larger number of shares and used every payment to buy more stock, creating a snowball effect. Meanwhile, many of the companies they invested in increased their dividend payments each year. For example, a company that paid $2 per share one year might pay $2.10 or $2.20 the next. That's called dividend growth, and it helps your income keep up with inflation. After 5 years, the Parkers had invested about $15,000 of their own money. But thanks to reinvested dividends and some modest stock price appreciation, their portfolio was worth over $18,000, and it was generating nearly $600 per year in dividends. Fast forward to the 10-year mark. The Parkers' total contributions had grown to about $36,000, but their portfolio had grown even faster. With steady investing, reinvested dividends, and rising payouts, their investments were now worth over $50,000 and producing more than $1,800 per year in annual dividend income. What's important here is that the Parkers didn't have to time the market, pick the next hot stock, or make risky bets. They simply stayed consistent, reinvested their dividends, and let time do the work. Throughout their journey, the Parkers kept learning. They paid attention to the companies they owned, making sure each one was still financially healthy and committed to rewarding shareholders. If a company cut its dividend or ran into trouble, they would review their position and sometimes reinvest future dividends elsewhere. They also avoided putting all their eggs in one basket. By diversifying across different sectors, they reduced the risk of a single company or industry hurting their entire portfolio. For example, if the energy sector was having a tough year, their consumer goods and healthcare stocks could help balance things out. The Parkers' story shows that anyone can start building passive income, even with modest amounts. The keys are patience, consistency, and a focus on quality companies with a track record of paying and ideally growing their dividends. Let's quickly review the main lessons from the Parkers' journey. First, understand what dividends are, regular payments from companies to shareholders. Second, use dividend reinvestment to automatically buy more shares and compound your returns over time. Third, pay attention to the dividend yield and payout ratio to choose sustainable, reliable companies. Fourth, diversify your investments across different sectors to reduce risk. And finally, stay consistent. Regular investing, even in small amounts, can make a big difference over the years. Building lasting wealth doesn't require luck or a financial background. It just takes a clear plan, steady investing, and the patience to let your money grow. If you found this story helpful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more practical guides on dividend investing. And if you have any questions or want to share your own investing journey, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Remember, this is not financial advice. Do your own research and invest according to your personal situation. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.